Hey guys, so we are approaching the weekend of the Big Bass Bash, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to fish it. It's going to be the first time in probably like 6 years that I'm not going to be able to, but I figured I'd kind of go over some of the baits I would use and how I would approach this Big Bass Bash if I was able to fish it. So first and foremost, just leading up to the time, it's going to be the late summer, early fall type pattern. If you watched my fall pattern video, it's going to be a lot of the same baits, kind of what I talked about there, but I'll just condense it down into a shorter thing here and just go over exactly how I would do certain things and why I would do that. So leading off with the tournament, obviously you're trying to catch the biggest fish. The main goal, try and win the grand prize, $100,000. But in the same breath, you're also trying to catch, the 4 to 5 pound fish that are also going to get you paid and help just recuperate some of your entry fees if you don't happen to catch the biggest fish. Because, there's a lot of people fishing it. And it really does just take one cast, one good fish, and you can take home a lot of money. Your odds are obviously much better of just catching some decent sized fish that are going to get you paid maybe multiple times throughout the tournament. So starting off in the mornings, I would be throwing buzz baits around some docks and primarily the backs of creeks. I would really focus, for me, on the shallow bite, round docks, laydowns, things in the very, very backs of the creeks. Looks like there's going to be some weather that's coming in, a little bit of rain Friday night, and then a little bit of rain Saturday morning, and looks like a little bit better chance of rain early afternoon, 1 o'clock-ish at the lake on Saturday. So with all that rain coming in, you're going to have fresh water flowing in, you're going to have even more shad that are active back there eating, and you're going to have plenty of bass busting on them and stuff. But I would more focus on the isolated targets around those areas that are going to have big fish and be trying to focus on that. So starting off would just be the buzz baits. You can kind of do whatever color you want, but I would probably be throwing either the black and gold, which is more of a head knocker style buzz bait here. You can get it to clank off the head, or I would go with my old trusty, this one's more of a squeaking buzz bait. Profile's a little bit longer where the body is compared to the commotion. And I would probably take the toad off and just run with the skirt. But really, buzz baits, I don't know if it matters that much. It's probably mostly what you're confident in is what you're going to throw the most, and that's what you're going to catch the fish on. Now, as soon as the sun kind of comes up, or if topwater wasn't doing that good for me, because I don't think I would throw topwater all day. For me, it's personally a little bit early, so I would probably focus on flipping, and that would be this here, the Zoom brush hog, dyeing the tails chartreuse, and flipping that around boat docks, behind boat docks, underneath the floats, shadiest parts of the dock, preferably a little bit of wind blowing in on them as well would be a bonus. Now that's obviously if the sun is up. If the sun is not up, say it's a cloudy overcast type day, I'm still going to be flipping around the boat docks, just trying to get it in harder to reach areas that maybe I think people aren't taking the time to flip their bait up into. In combination with that, I would also have jigs tied on. I primarily throw this brown jig here, or maybe a brown jig with a little bit of green tinsel. I call that Ozarks Special. And that was what I would be flipping around the docks. You could also use something a little bit more natural color. It's got a little bit of green pumpkin in it. Or you can do just like a black and blue jig would work really good too. And I would pair that up with either a rage crawl or a beaver style bait. Maybe I would have one of each and kind of flip that around and see if I'm getting bit on either one of those a little bit better. Now after day one, the fish have obviously seen a lot of pressure. They've had people flipping docks all over the lake. Doesn't matter what pattern you're running, you can be fishing deep, and it seems like there's somebody everywhere during the Big Bass Bash. So on day two, I would probably focus on trying to change up my profile a little bit. For example, with a jig, I'd probably throw a little bit more of a finesse style jig with maybe a little bit smaller trailer. Throw that in areas and see if you can get some more bites on that. And then as far as the brush hog goes, instead of a full-size brush hog, I might go down to a baby brush hog, which is, instead of being 6 inches, they might be 4 inches. And then something else you can do is experiment with your weight. I normally been using a 3/8 ounce weight and I've been pegging it, but I might bump it up to a 1/2 ounce weight and get a little bit faster fall. So there's more of a reaction strike. They have less time to look at it. And if that wasn't working, then maybe I would downsize and go to an 1/8 or a 3/16 ounce weight. So as far as trying to have a little bit of a systematic approach to it, I would start off by looking in just the back of the creeks where the large flats, you have water coming in. And I would start off by fishing both the steep side and the flat side if the creek channel runs back in there, and just pay attention if I'm getting bit better on one more than the other. And then I would just cover as much water as I could doing that specific thing. So say I start flipping the docks, I'm not getting the bites I want, or I'm not catching any sizable fish, I may mix things up a little bit, and I would probably throw a spinnerbait around kind of the same areas, and maybe go to the last secondary point in there. I could throw a mag trick worm on a shaky head. I'd specifically be looking for brush piles. You could even go throw this out on the main lake looking for brush piles or on any structure if the shallow bite wasn't working for you. And one other thing that you could try if you really just want to try and catch a big fish is like a glide bait. The last 2 of the 3 big bass bashes in the fall have been won on a glide bait. One person caught it out deep on a main lake point, and one person caught it shallow in the back of a pocket. Glide bait would work good either shallow or deep, but I think I would concentrate most of my efforts on the shallow bite. So just remember to be efficient. Try and put your bait in areas that other people aren't. Maybe take your time. Don't get frustrated if you're seeing people everywhere you go and you're thinking, I can't fish any new water. I feel like I'm constantly fishing behind somebody. And pay attention to how the other people are fishing, because a lot of times you're going to see people going through the pockets, kind of just going through the motions, flipping the sides, the corners of the boat docks, real easy targets. And they're not really going up in behind and really putting the amount of flips or the amount of effort in to those hard to reach places. So if you can narrow it down on the shallow bite to just 5 or 6 docks that you need to fish in each back of a creek, you can roll on there, thoroughly fish those docks, and move out to the next creek and do the exact same thing, and just cover as much water as you can in a day, because it only takes 1 cast and 1 fish and it can turn your entire day around. So that's how I would approach the big bass bash this year. If I was able to fish it, I'll have to live vicariously through you guys. So hopefully that helps somebody and helps someone get a check, and good luck to everyone out there.